Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. There's a lot of ways to make money by listing and selling new homes and new home developments. This presentation is a synopsis, a Reader's Digest version of what we used to give to real estate agents when they came into our communities. When I was with Pulte, we had 80 communities around the state, sold about 4,000 homes a year. And we really encouraged real estate agents to come in and bring their clients and participate with us. And so this is a half an hour version of that presentation, which, depending upon the agent or the brokerage, could be anywhere from a half day to a full day. So this is just a shortened version of it. There is an ebook version that you can go and get on our website that has more information. This is just a subset of that. So the goal of the ebook and of this presentation today is to help real estate agents understand the relationship and processes to work with builders so you can make money selling what they are building. There are all kinds of relationships that builders have with outside real estate agents. Many of the builders, or some of the builders, actually just ask you to bring a client, fill out a form saying you were there on the first visit with that client, and they take over the entire process themselves. The builder will take your client, walk you through all of their steps. One of the reasons they do that, some of these processes can be quite involved. They can be 20, 30, 40 steps with all kinds of visits and everything else. And if a client wants to participate in that, and it's just hard to turn that over to an agent for those particular builders. And the other more common situation is a builder or the sales manager for the builder will work with a resale agent or outside real estate agent, and figure out, they'll tell them what the builder will do and what the agent will do. And you'll work together in that relationship. We're going to get more into that as we go. And finally, there's some agents, they'll have just 100% of the client interaction for the builder. Builder won't be involved at all. You may even have to make all of your own marketing material and do absolutely everything like you do with a normal resale of a piece of real estate. So here's what we're going to talk about today: the current market and types of new home developments, how to get listings and what to do with them. Selling new home construction is different from the resale market. You'll find out how and why. Selling the product, you're really not selling houses, you're selling a lifestyle in most cases, especially in these bigger developments, and what the new home selling process looks like. So where is the real estate inventory? Currently, according to NAR, we are less than half of the normal real estate inventory available for sale. If you are in resales, it's no shock to you that there's just not a lot of listings available. There's no inventory. Typically, about 2 million homes nationwide are available for sale, but right now that's 900,000 and change. So that gives an opportunity for resale agents to start selling new home construction. That's probably one of the best ways you're going to get new homes or get listings, is through new homes. So we're encouraging agents to get on the new home bandwagon and start listing and selling new homes. In this webinar, I'll show you how. Let's talk about the market. There's a big opportunity. As you can see, this is a chart from 2000 to 2020, and it shows the dip in 2008 that we're all familiar with. But the current new home construction continues to surge, but it's still not back to where it was or caught up with where it was in 2000, 2001. The U.S. housing shortage right now is about 5 million homes. So there's more people, there's 5 million more people need to find a place to live that can't find one. And one of the only ways we're going to get out of that is through new home building. And so the trend's not expected to change as long as this demand continues. Now, one of the reasons I'm explaining this is your clients are going to want to know, they've probably seen the news, they're going to want to know the real story about the market and the reasons that new homes are cost so much and what's going on with them in terms of how long it takes to build and how come there's not that many available. The first, probably most important reason is the material shortages, not just in delivery, but also in manufacturing of that material. That is left over from COVID. And quite frankly, the builders themselves have not recovered completely from the 2008 crash. And so all the subs, all the suppliers, they're still trying to recover from all of that. Labor shortages, skilled labor, that's certainly a problem. In many areas, especially along the South and the Sun Belt, where a lot of people are moving to. Increased regulation. It used to, back in 2011, cost about $65,000 to build a community. I'm sorry, to get the permits for each house and start building. Now it costs $93,000. One house, $93,000 just for the local, state, and federal regulation permitting process. It also used to be, back in the 90s, it was about 2 to 3 years to come up with an idea for a community, and 2 to 3 years later, you're putting a shovel in the ground and start. Now it's 5 to 7 years. So all of this slows down the process and increases the cost. The time to build. Most houses take, in a new home community or custom homes, take anywhere from 6 to 9 months to build. Some take as long as a year. And depending upon the material shortages, labor shortages, and getting inspectors out when you need them for the regulation problem, it can take even longer. So that's extending the time to build. One of the builders that I worked for was DeBosta Homes in Florida. They had 48 days to build a house. Every house they did, it took 48 days, and it was a hurricane-proof house. So that builder, the brand still exists, but the process for building them does no longer exist. Affordability, that's another issue. These houses are expensive now. I mean, they're $400,000 on average and up, and that's just not affordable for a lot of folks. Now, in the ebook, it has all 50 of the top communities, master plan communities in the in the United States. This one I've just shown the top 20. They're in Florida, Nevada, around Las Vegas, South Carolina, California, Texas, and that's where the top ones are. Florida has most of them. I'll be honest with you, and we're going to show those a couple of examples, just for you to have the opportunity to see how to list and sell them. Okay, so I've created this immersion therapy checklist, and to get on board to market and sell new home developments. There's a lot more to selling a new home than there is in a resale, for the most part. The suggestion I have is go visit the builder or the sales manager, development sales center, and ask if they pay commission to outside agents. Not all of them do. And especially in Florida, there's a bunch in Florida that are not right now, and that's unfortunate, because when the boom is over, those agents will remember, and when those builders need you as an agent, you may not be so interested in going and helping them out. So I think it's short-sighted, but there are plenty of builders around the country in fact, most will cooperate with outside agents. If they do cooperate, it's time to get educated about the community. Um, you know, a lot of the builders on average are at a 1 to 3% commission. In some cases, it's higher than that. And I'll talk about an example of that here in a few minutes. So one of the most important things that you need to worry about is what you have to do to get credit for the sale. Typically, that is show up on the first visit with your client to the sales center or with the builder and fill out some forms that identify you as the agent and your client. If you don't do that, there's a chance, a very good chance, that you won't get credit for the sale, that they won't pay you commission. There's a lot of people that go around and tire kick model homes. They actually find one that they like, and they go ahead and make a deal with with the salesperson at that works for the builder, and then they show up at closing with their brother-in-law or some relative and want commission on it. That's a pretty common thing, and they don't end up getting the commission. So on the first visit, fill out the forms that the builder has so that you get credit for the sale. You'll want to add inventory homes and future homes as open listings on My State MLS. I'll talk about that more in a bit. Most MLSs do not allow you to put open listings on their MLS, the typical local MLS systems. There's a lot of other things you need to learn about. Find out their price points for homes and options. How often do they raise prices? You know, builders usually have great weekends. That's when they sell most of their homes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so they evaluate on Sunday night and Monday morning, and that's usually when they raise their prices. They almost never lower them. So Monday mornings, prices get raised all across the country for new homes if they're in this kind of a market. You'll want to find out when their sales programs are for grand openings of new models or releasing new sections of communities for sale. Find out what the HOA fees are. In many of these communities, there's 2 or 3 different HOA fees. There's one for the neighborhood you're in, there's one for the village you're in, and then there's one for the master plan community. Maybe 3 HOA fees or more. You'll need to find out all of that so you can inform your clients. How does a home site get selected by the client is a big deal. Where are they going to be in that community? When will the community amenities be completed? Most builders have a schedule for doing that. It can be anywhere from 1 year to 3 years or longer, depending upon the extent of how much they have to build. But if you are early on where you show up at a trailer and it's an empty field, it may be 1 to 3 years before an amenity is there for any homeowners to use. It's good to know when they're going to do that. The construction schedule for a particular lot and home that they're going to build, you have to stay on top of that. Talk to the sales manager and other salespeople in the sales center and find out who the best buyers are. What are the ideal customer types for that particular community? Those are the ones you want to prospect for. Do they have any move-in ready homes, any inventory? You'll want to find those. How many are a percentage of cash buyers? Cash buyers certainly end up getting first pick in most cases. So you want to find out how many of those are and probably prospect for those. How are they positioning and marketing the homes? Are their homes on an MLS? Does a builder actually have an MLS arrangement so that they are putting their homes on an MLS? One of the employees there doing it, or they have a realtor that's doing it, or can you be that person? That's not a bad way to get listings. How much traffic are they getting, and when are the sales center and models busiest? Some of these sales centers can get 20, 30, 40 people in them, depending upon what's going on. It's really, really hard to have some quiet time with your client when it's really, really busy. So you want to go at a time when it's not busy. You don't want your client hearing all kinds of objections and all kinds of other stuff from other potential buyers. It's better to have quiet time with them and be able to spend all the time you need to with them. Um, get all the marketing collateral and other sales tools from the builder. If the builder doesn't have it, you'll have to produce it yourself. Ask if you can use their photography and videos. Almost all of them will say yes, but you need to ask and make sure you can have permission to use those. Learn how their options work, and if they have a design center for customers to pick options, anywhere from floor covering, wall treatment, different kinds of fixtures throughout the house. Um, you need to find out what those are and how they're priced, and how often they change the prices. Um, how do you take a deposit, and how much does the deposit have to be? And then there's the normal things that you have to make sure you're on top of is learn their website, the customer care process, their warranty, forms and contracts, tour the model homes if they have them, and drive the community. If they don't have model homes, well, that's a whole different thing, and we'll talk about that in a second. So the different types of builders, and let's take a step back just for a second to understand the different types of builders and communities. There's custom homes, and there's 1 to 50 homes that this builder is building, and they're spot builders. They build them on a particular lot. You can make a deal with a builder and become, if not the exclusive agent for those homes, certainly one of the agents through open listings. A single builder for a larger community, it's typically up to 5,000 homes. They typically have is a large development with some kind of a theme associated with it. And then there's the multi-builder communities. These can be 20,000 homes or more. They're creating a whole new town. In fact, several of these large multi-builder communities have actually chartered with their state, and they are a town. There's one that I helped launch in Naples called Ave Maria. There's one in here in West Palm Beach called Westlake, done by Minto, and they're actually chartered towns. And then they have multiple builders that come in and build them. The bigger it is, the more there is to learn, but that means there's more to sell, and that's a good thing. Here's a MacDaddy of master plan communities. It's one of the many that around the country that this happens to be in Florida and Sarasota. If you're not familiar with the concept of new urbanism, most older towns people loved when they were younger. Back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, or earlier than that even, there was a town center with the city hall at one end and a church at the other, and shops and in between, with a lot of times apartments above those shops. And that's kind of the basis of these communities, where they have a lot of entertainment. It's a matter of live, work, and play in this community. You shouldn't have to leave it. You should do everything. You could do everything there because your job is there. You live there, and that's where you play a lot. This example is Lakewood Ranch. They have 20 villages in this one community and 14 builders for the homes. So it's a big community in Sarasota, Florida. Another community is Village Walk of Naples. Launched that in 1995. Selling new home construction really is different from the resale market, as you've probably already seen from the list of things I've given you on the immersion therapy list. You're selling an idea. It may be an empty field. It may not even have backhoes on it yet. It may just be an empty field in a trailer. And so you're selling an idea based on a site plan. They may not have model homes or a community center, may not have roads yet. It may not have surrounding amenities like grocery stores, schools, and healthcare. A few of the communities I was involved in building and selling were the builder ended up building the schools and the shopping centers for the grocery stores to go in. So that's a very common thing in Florida, and it's really all across the country, especially in the Sun Belt. So with these homes, these communities, you're selling a lifestyle. Um, in this particular case, it was waterfront living. All of the homes were on peninsulas. The peninsulas were connected by walking bridges, and there's a lot of recreation, big town center. The town center for this particular community and all of the village walk communities for this particular builder included a gas station with a car wash, a bank, a post office, a real estate office, which would be your competitor, a mini market, restaurant and cafe, library and card rooms, ballroom. They would have shows, they have movie nights, there were all kinds of dances, picnics, tours off the property. There was a lot. There was an event coordinator there. There's a lot that is provided in a community like that. And the HOA fee currently in that community is $446 a month. In 1995, those houses sold for 150,000 plus. They are currently selling for 550,000 plus, and that is a duplex. $550,000 for a duplex. That's 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and 2-car garage. And then all the way up to 5-bedroom single family homes for $1 million and up. So that's the large communities that what they would look like after you're done building them, which can take anywhere from 5 to 10 years. So you're asking a buyer to imagine a lot. The town center may not be there. They may only have a floor plan. They may only even have renderings for the house, the houses that they're selling. And so you're asking them to imagine how they're going to live, which is certainly much different than a resale. You're also asking a client to trust what you're proposing. I mean, is a builder reputable? Are they trustworthy? How do they handle things? Is their material good? Is building quality good? Labor quality? Most people don't know anything about builders. I mean, they just don't. They know the communities. They know the community names because they're popping up and they're in the news a lot, but they don't know the builders at all. They don't know which ones are good, bad, and so you're going to have to help them with that. And these are the things that you're going to have to let them know about. Surrounding community, if it doesn't exist, if there's no schools nearby, the grocery stores aren't built yet, no pharmacies, no hospitals, it's a hard sell for a lot of folks. Typical grocery store is 2 to 3 miles away from anyone's house. And if somebody has to go 20 miles to go to a grocery store, it's going to be pretty hard for them to sign on a dotted line to buy a house. So all of this stuff needs to go into the mix when you're trying to sell a new home. Okay, so the new home sales cycle, I'm not going to go through this in detail. The details are in the ebook that you'll have access to after this. And also this video, a replay of this video and webinar will be available also. So the agent education comes first before you start prospecting, because as you can see, there's a lot of information that you should know. First of all, like I mentioned before, does the builder cooperate with outside agents? A really important thing to find out. Does the builder have a training program for outside agents? We've created one for Pulte and Vasta, Del Webb, Minto. We had training programs that we would take people through all of this material about each particular community so that those agents could represent the property well and the homes. Again, be sure to register on first visit. Why am I saying that a lot? A lot of people don't. Realtor comes by, brings a client, they don't register. It's an ugly situation because they think they're going to get a commission when they haven't registered. Okay, so see the emergent therapy checklist before you complete your education. Connect with the sales center. Any programs to integrate with the outside agent to the community. Babcock Ranch on the west coast of Florida, for example, they provide a white list website, custom website branded to you to sell, so the agent can sell off, an off-site agent can sell their properties. Do they provide leads? Many of the builders in the larger communities provide leads. Unfortunately, they provide leads to all the people that have signed up. They don't just provide them to you. So that's but at least they do provide leads when people walk into their sales centers. They take what's called bingo cards. If they don't have a realtor or if they don't have a sales staff, they'll send those bingo cards and all that information to real estate agents. So the next thing, after you've educated yourself about the community, the next thing you want to look into is set up open listings for inventory homes and for models for the community on My State MLS. And I'm going to show you what that's about in the next slide. But after you're done with that, you're all set up for community marketing on your website and on social media. Open listings. Open listings are an advertisement. They are not an exclusive listing, but they are on My State MLS. The idea comes from New York City. In New York City, a lot of people can't find a place to live. And so they allow on their local MLS in New York City to have open listings. And there's a lot of rentals on there. There's new homes. There's all kinds of open listings on there, but they're not exclusive. We have taken that concept and made open listings available nationwide from My State MLS. So if you find a new home model that's either going to be built or it's an inventory home and a builder, you go and ask the builder, can I do an open listing for this? It won't be exclusive. They're likely to say yes, absolutely. You take that listing, you become a member of My State MLS. If you're not a member already, you put it in an open listing, and that makes it an official listing or listing advertisement that you can then have on your website, and you can market directly from the open listings within My State MLS. What's the value of that? Well, you have an official place to put listings. We're reading a lot lately in the national and local news about all of the rental and sales scams that are going on. People listing properties, or not listing, but they're offering for sale or rent houses on Craigslist and all these other places that aren't official. Some folks, I just read an article the other day, $5,000 they had given to somebody that was pretending to be the landlord of a house. And that person had taken multiple deposits from folks before they left town. This gives you some, a legitimate listing that you can then advertise. And oh, by the way, all the listings from My State MLS that you put on My State MLS are your leads. Nobody else will get them. And so it's a great way to list property and to sell them. Latest example is our president, Don Pfaff, challenged one of the agents, one of our members, to get 200 listings in 30 days. 2 weeks in, she had 208 listings. At first, she thought it was impossible. 200 listings in 30 days, that's impossible. And so she got 208 listings in less than 2 weeks. Out of that, she had 33 leads, and out of those 33 leads, she has 8 active buying customers that are ready to pay for cash. Most of these listings are $1 million and up, and she's getting anywhere from 4 to 7% commission on those. So these are new properties that are available for sale, and so it can be done. She's on her way to try and get 300 listings by the end of the 30 days. And so it's a great way for you to make money with open listings. You can see more about these on mystatemls.com, open listing advertisement, or just go to our site and you'll be able to find it there. So selling new home construction with open listings, you first want to ask if there's any inventory homes and or future homes. And this is what they look like. on My State MLS, and just give you an idea of the different kinds of property we have there. We'll take everything: commercial, new, rental, new homes, uh, all kinds of listings on My State MLS. When you're prospecting for buyers, um, you want to go and look for buyers that are looking for something new, something fresh, something unlived in. Um, this isn't your typical urban buyer or your typical uh, buyer that is looking for a historic neighborhood. Um, the buyers you are looking for um, are folks that are looking for something brand new, that they just don't want to deal with any of the problems of an existing home. Now, when it comes to retirement, the research that we've done, that 50% of the retirees have retired in place because they have family around, or they like the area, or they like the weather, or whatever. And 50% of them move, most of them to the Sun Belt, or they move to someplace near their children. And a lot of times they're looking for something new. They maybe lived in a house for 20, 30 years, and they um, ended up selling it for a lot of money nowadays, and they're coming down to the Sun Belt with cash, and they're going to use that cash to buy something new. So those are the ones that you really are looking for. And you have to remember that um, this kind of sale involves providing a customer experience. It's much different than in resales. Um, the uh, person that has a lot of experience in customer service is a plus, because you're going to be walking most of your customers through this entire process. On your initial client contact, this is probably um, information you're familiar with, but I've seen so many websites and so many brokerages and agencies and new home builders that have said, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Um, that's too long. In today's market, you need to answer any phone, email, or web lead within 15 minutes. If you do that, you'll be one of about 10% of the agents that do, and you'll end up having that as a client. So anybody that's willing to give you their phone number and their email address and all their personal information, answer them or get in contact with them in 15 minutes, and you'll end up with a client. Again, you're not selling a house; you're providing an experience. So you really want to find out what their lifestyle, what lifestyle they want to have in this new community or in this new house. How much do they know about master plan communities and construction? What amenities are important? Most of these communities have a story behind them or with them, associated with them. You need to know that community story. And again, schedule showings when there's enough time to show uh, as much as possible, and trying to get quiet time with the clients. That will end up helping you um, sell them a house. When presenting these properties, um, I always like to do an outside-in presentation. So you show what you can of the main entrance if it exists. Sometimes it doesn't exist. As I said, it may be a trailer with just an empty field, but a lot of times they'll build the front gate, main entrance first before they build anything else, because that's the thing that invites so many people in. Some main entrances look like a Greek palace. Some are very small. So what your buyer likes. Maybe they just want a small one with a security. Maybe they don't want all that pizzazz and all that fancy luxury looking stuff. Find out what they want before you take them, and then take them to those communities that offer what they want. Um, the sales center usually has a site plan. Sometimes it's a 3D site plan of the overall community and what lots are available to buy. They release these lots usually in a neighborhood at a time, and you need to know what that schedule is. Again, be sure to register with a sales center with your client on their first visit. want to make sure that you get your commission. And next, you take them into the models and show them around. Hopefully, somebody in the staff there is building or baking cookies in the models so that they smell great when you walk in. And point out the standards versus the options in the models. Models are usually full of everything, and not all of it is standard. You need to know what the difference is. If you have to, bring a salesperson from the builder along with you to help identify all of that. If it's too much for you to know or you don't know, it will be helpful. A lot of times they're willing to do that. When it comes to options, exterior colors, roofing, pools, appliances, floors, windows, cabinets, fixtures, and more, know the difference between the standard items and the upgrades. Discover all the buyer objections before the client leaves. I go somewhat extensively into this in the ebook, the typical objections that people have when they're buying anything. They say the same thing about it's too expensive, I'm not ready right now. They say the same thing. I give you some examples of how to handle those objections. Essentially, you treat all objections as requests for further information and act on it. Offers. Production home builders rarely discount homes, the base price of the home. And the reason is the demand is high, but also the neighbors. One of your neighbors bought the house a month before you did, and now all of a sudden you're going to get a discount. That neighbor will end up being back at the sales center and yelling at the sales manager because of giving somebody a discount on the base price of a house. So new homes are priced based on a lot of things, which you can see there. There are some areas of negotiation, not always, and not in all communities. You check with the sales manager, find out which ones of these might be areas for negotiation. Again, I said the base house price is probably off limits on pre-construction homes, but the type of financing, the types of the HOA fees, can you get a free month or a free year of HOA fees for your client? Price of lot or lot fees, sometimes that is negotiable, not always. Upgrades, amenities, and finishes. And inventory of model homes are negotiable because they are just sitting there and they need to be moved. So sometimes they'll discount an inventory home or spec house in the community. Get to know the builder and the sales manager to see what's negotiable for your clients. And you need to find out who approves the pricing and the discounts. It's typically a sales manager, but if there's a significant discount, let's say your client has put together a bundle with all these different options and all of that, you say, listen, I'll give you I'll give you 10% less of that bundle. Sometimes that works, but don't count on it, especially when the demand is so high right now. Customer care. Remember, you're providing an experience. Builders vary on their customer care processes throughout this 6 to 9 months or a year of interacting with your client. Some are completely restrictive. They don't allow anybody on site. You don't have a hard hat. Your client doesn't have a hard hat. They aren't going to let anybody on this site for any reason. And in fact, even if they're a homeowner, even if they've purchased and they're waiting for a house to build and they go on the site, they'll get kicked off on these particular houses or these particular communities that are very restrictive. There is no process for some builders or some communities, so you can come and go as you please. Just be careful as you walk onto the site. They're building construction sites, so you have to be careful when you go. And many of the builders have a structured experience. They have coffees with the construction crews that your client can come out to. They have a pre-drywall walkthrough. They have post-drywall walkthroughs. They have 7 or 8 times where you can go on the property as it's being built. And then I always recommend that the agent go with a client to those. A couple of reasons. One, you get to know your client much better. They'll be client for life after you go through all that with them. Also, another important aspect is you'll get to interact with the construction crews and the customer care people and possibly the sales manager at those meetings, and establish more of a relationship with them so that they will recommend or refer you to other buyers. You also have to find out what the warranty is on a new home so that the buyer, you can inform the buyer, your client. There's a lot of stuff covered in a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, and 10 year with most of these developments. Find out what it is for your client. So, thank you again for participating.